This keyboard, the Jelly Epoch, is arguably the most talked about keyboard of the year, and its markup on the aftermarket reflects that. This SSE version has gone for as much as $1,500. But even though it's coveted, not everyone is a fan. It was the originator of PE switch foam hype, but also PE switch foam hatred. At the time of recording this video, PE foam sound is both, as the kids say, poggy woggy and crinky crunchmas at the same time. I personally quite like the sound, maybe a bit unsurprisingly, but honestly, if we zoom out a bit, caring this much about a thin piece of foam in a tippy-tappy rectangle is extremely silly. And that is part of why this hobby is so fun. But also please try to remember how silly this hobby is before engaging in quote-unquote debates with others in the community.
MX Browns bad!
So the Jelly Epoch is a big meme that sounds like marbles. It's talky-walky, it's flexy-bouncy, it's ticky-talky, yada yada. But does that really make it worth $1,500? You know what you can get with $1,500? Like a fifth of a Jane. I mean, some people clearly think it is worth the money. It does have a big brass weight on the back, and this one in the SSE is really pretty. There's also this neat RGB bar on the back, but both of those things aren't even visible during normal use. So for me personally, I can't really justify this thing being that expensive on the aftermarket. Thankfully, I got mine during the limited in-stock sale for the retail price of $510 including shipping. The case design of the Jelly is very unique, and I initially really didn't like how it looked top down even when I got it in hand. But as soon as I added this GMK coloring to the F-rail and this raw GMK Sloth Artisan, I kinda dig it. The Jelly gasket mount used by this board does make the typing experience pretty soft. During a flex test, it is possible to bottom out the PCB, but that shouldn't be an issue for normal use, unless you play MOBAs. In case you're curious, I do prefer the Mr. Suit in terms of typing feel, as the meme cuts around every single alpha on the PCB are actually pretty effective at minimizing flex hotspots versus the Jelly's still memey but more conventional stripe style flex cuts. But honestly, this difference will barely be felt during normal typing, and flex in general is a bit overrated in my opinion. While on the topic of the suit, this finish on the Jelly SSE looks extremely similar to my silver suit. But I did notice some striping on the inside of the Jelly that I didn't on the suit. Not a huge deal, but worth noting, especially because disassembling the Jelly is like a Chris Ramsey puzzle, requiring a handful of different screw bits and many steps, many of which aren't very intuitive. So, I was slightly disappointed that the surprise that awaited me inside was not a pack of cards. I guess some of this shouldn't be too surprising, especially considering that the suit is the successor to the Jelly, but yeah. While the Jelly will forever have a place in the keyboard zeitgeist of 2021, I really don't think it's worth $1,500. The typing experience and sound are solid in my opinion, but there are plenty of other more affordable boards that offer a similar experience. So when looking to buy a board aftermarket, please keep in mind that bigger number does not always equal better experience. Price is largely dictated by exclusivity and sheer clout. Anyways, here's a Jelly sound test with the GOAT switch, MX Browns.